Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Last Minute A, the channel that helps you with all your issues related to life sciences. It's either the night before your exam or you're starting a new section and you're feeling a little bit intimidated. This is the painkiller to all your problems related to life science, okay? So I'm happy that you guys are here to get that relief and insight and education to get that A. So let's get to what we're going to be doing today. Today we're going to be doing grade 11 classification of microorganisms. We're going to be looking at a lot of terminology in that section. Microorganisms, the list of 5 kingdoms, describe the key features or the key characteristics of each kingdom, and also give an example of the organisms in each kingdom. So this video is going to be separated to part 1 and part 2. So this is going to be part 1 of this video. So let's get into it. So what are microorganisms? Microorganisms are living organisms that are too small to be seen with the naked eye. You can be able to see them by using a microscope. And you find these microorganisms in the air, water, soil, inside plants, animals, and humans, and even on plants, animals, and humans. That's why we use hand sanitizers and a lot of soaps or bar soaps are written disinfectant or kill germs, all of those ads and commercials, because these organisms are also on our bodies and our skin, either on our plants, that's why we wash our fruits and vegetables, or animals as well. So now let's look at the 5 kingdom system. So the 5 kingdom system is a classification system that is used to group living organisms into different categories so that we can understand how they work and how to identify them as well. So this is a classification created in science. So in the kingdom system we have kingdom Monera, Protistum, fungi, Plantia, and Animalia as well. So these kingdoms are based on cell type. Is the cell prokaryotic, meaning has a nucleus, or eukaryotic, meaning does not have a nucleus? The number of cells inside the cell, mode of nutrition, how does it provide nourishment for itself, or how does it get nourishment, or the presence or absence of a cell wall. So let's now look at more examples. So let's look at the key characteristics inside these kingdoms. So let's look at the first microorganism, or a group of microorganisms, and these are viruses. Unfortunately for viruses, they are under no kingdom. So let's look at the properties or the characteristics of viruses. Viruses are unicellular, meaning they only consist of one cell. There's no other organelles inside of them. There's no mitochondria. There's no nucleus. There's only a nucleode, which is just a space that contains either RNA or DNA, which will be surrounded by a protein coat called a capsid. They are obligate parasitic, meaning that they cannot feed nor reproduce without a host. And a host will be any other living organism that is infected by the virus. And they are also pathogenic. Pathogenic means that they causes diseases. So example of diseases that are caused by viruses are HIV and influenza, also known as the flu virus. And if a virus cannot find a host, it just remains dormant. So until you are infected with a flu virus, that virus is dormant. And once it's in you and you are now coughing, sneezing, you have those flu symptoms, that's when it starts reproducing and feeding, and it's multiplying. So that's how it is able to feed himself, nourish and grow, and multiply inside of your body. Other than that, it will just remain dormant. It cannot live unless it has infected another living organism. Let's move on to the first kingdom, that is kingdom Monera. So the example of a microorganism under this kingdom is bacteria. So bacteria are prokaryotic, meaning they don't contain a nucleus. They are unicellular as well, just like a virus, meaning there's no other organelles besides a nucleus, which is the space holding DNA material. They come in different shapes. They're either round, rod, or spiral. They can be helpful or harmful. For example, bacteria in yogurt. We know yogurts, for example, especially plain yogurt, very good for gum health, sore throat, and also UTIs, urinary tract infections. The bacteria in yogurt helps with all of those type of stuff, but then there is some bacteria that is harmful that could cause you to be sick. So some other characteristics of bacteria is that they do contain a cell wall. They are either autotrophic, meaning they can synthesize their own food by photosynthesis, meaning they have chlorophyll. Or they're either heterotrophic, meaning they source their food from the environment, either from other animals, like ingesting other animals, or fungi. They reproduce via binary fusion, which is a type of asexual reproduction, meaning that organism doesn't need another mate to reproduce, but instead it can reproduce on itself or by itself. So what happens in that binary fusion process is that DNA replication would happen. So the one bacteria, one cell, DNA replication will happen. It will copy itself. Then the bacteria cell will get bigger. It will grow bigger, and then it will split. It's as if like the cell itself is going through mitosis. The bacteria cell itself, it will split into two identical new cells. So it will just multiply like that, and it multiplies rapidly in very favorable conditions. We now are going to be looking at kingdom Protista. In kingdom Protista, we obviously have protists, and these microorganisms are either eukaryotes or prokaryotes, but most of them are prokaryotes, meaning they do not have a nucleus and they are unicellular. They live in water or moist environments. They are autotrophic, meaning they make their own food using photosynthesis, or they are heterotrophic, meaning they feed off other animals or fungi. And an example of protist that is plant-like would be algae or seaweeds, and they are called photoplanktons. And an example of animal-like protist would be amoeba, which are also called the animal-like protists are also called zooplanktons. Protists are not animals nor plants or fungi, but they either have plant-like characteristics, and those types of protists, as I've mentioned before, are then called the photoplankton protists, and they are either animal-like, and those protists are called zooplanktons. Let's look at kingdom fungi. So fungi are eukaryotic. They're mostly multicellular. An example of multicellular fungi is mushrooms, or they are unicellular. An example of fungi which is unicellular is yeast. Their cell wall is made up of chitin, which also makes up the exoskeleton of insects like grasshoppers. Fungi is also known to be heterotrophic, saprophytic, meaning they feed on dead or they are parasitic. Fungi also reproduce sexually and asexually with the use of spores. We'll look at how that happens later. And their main role in the environment is they act as decomposers, hence why they are known to feed on dead or to be parasitic. So now let's look at the structure of fungi. Let's look at the structure of a fungus. So a fungus has hypha, which is like a strand-like filament, and it helps to absorb nutrients and helps the fungus to grow and spread. Then we have mycelium. Mycelium is like a network of hypha, so multiple strands of hyphas will make up the mycelium, and the mycelium acts as also it's like the main feeding part of the fungus, and it increases surface area for absorption for nutrients in the soil or food for the fungus. And then we have the spores. The spores help with asexual reproduction for the fungus, and we will talk about that later. And then we have the rhizoids. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but they are like a root-like structure, but they're not real roots. They're just similar to roots. They don't absorb, but they do anchor the fungus on the surface of the food or that whichever area the fungus is growing from. So you just keep it stable, which allows it to just grow. Now let's look at the asexual reproduction of fungi. So what will happen is that there will be spores. The spores will form. They're just tiny microscopic seeds. They are at the top of the fungi. They will spread through the air, water, or surface. So it's almost as if like it's pollination. They just spread, and wherever they land, and if wherever they land is like a good environment for them to thrive, then new fungi will start propping up in that area. So that's how fungi sexually reproduce. There's also other different ways, like the budding. Budding occurs in yeast. So a small bud will grow under parent fungus, and it will undergo DNA replication, and then the bud will grow bigger, and it will eventually break off, and a new fungus will form. But that happens with yeast cells. Then we have the last two kingdoms, which are not related to microorganisms, but we're just going to mention them. We have kingdom Plantae and kingdom Animalia. For plants, which is kingdom Plantae, they are eukaryotic. Plants have nucleuses. They are multicellular. Their cell wall is made of cellulose. They are autotrophic, meaning they make their own food with photosynthesis, and photosynthesis can only occur if they have chlorophyll. And an example of organisms under this kingdom are trees, grasses, flowering plants, and non-flowering plants. And then for the kingdom Animalia, they are also eukaryotes, meaning they have a nucleus, multicellular. Animals don't have a cell wall. Animals are heterotrophic because they feed on other animals, and they're usually able to move around. And an example of organisms under the kingdom Animalia is humans, insects, birds, and fish. So we are going to end this video here. This is just part 1, introducing you guys to the classification of organisms. Now we're going to look into other deeper things, but this is just part 1 of the video, and I hope the video was very nice for you guys and you enjoyed it. Please make sure you subscribe, you leave a comment, and you also share this video to your classmates, because we don't gatekeep in 2026, guys. Please share the A's. They cannot be enough 100%. So share it out there with your friends, your fellow classmates. Yeah, and good luck with your studies, and be on the lookout for my next video. And also please follow us on our social media platforms on Instagram and TikTok. Just search both of these usernames or handles on Instagram or on TikTok, And please follow us because we have such amazing content there, opportunities for bursaries, some programs where you can just get some skills while you're still in school, so that by the time you're out of school you have a lot of options. You're not only holding your breath to just get into a varsity and holding your breath for NSFAS, but there's other bursaries that you, even if you're not applying this year and you'll be applying for next year or the next coming year, but at least you have knowledge that there are such opportunities out there. You can just bookmark them or just keep them at the back of your mind or share them with other people that you know that they need them. So please follow us there so that you can see all of that fun content. But we're done for today, and bye.